Good morning, boys and girls. My name is Joyce Speas. I'm going to be your visiting teller of tales today. And my book that I have chosen today is one of my very favorites. It's about a little red-headed boy who is so cute, and he visits lots of friends. The book was written by an author named Mem Fox, and the pictures were drawn by a lady named Julie Vivas. And the title of the book is Wilford Gordon MacDonald Partridge. And that's Wilford right there. And this is one of his friends that he goes to visit. And these are some more of his friends that he goes to visit. Wilford Gordon MacDonald Partridge. And I'll bet that this chair is his, because there's nobody sitting in that one right now, so he hasn't come to visit yet. Ah, there he is. There was once a small boy called Wilford Gordon MacDonald Partridge, and what's more, he wasn't very old either. His house was next door to an old people's home, and he knew all the people who lived there. So here's Wilford's house, and here's where the old folks live. Can't get the pages turned. And here are some of his friends. He liked Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. He listened to Mr. Hoskins, who told him scary stories. He played with Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. And if you don't know what cricket is, it's a game that they play with balls and bats. He ran errands for Miss Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. And he admired Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. He's a big, tall man. But his favorite person of all was Miss Nancy Allison Delacourt Cooper, because she had 4 names, just like he did. He called her Miss Nancy and told her all his secrets. And there they are. He's playing on his skateboard, and Miss Nancy is keeping an eye on him. One day, Wilford Gordon heard his mother and father talking about Miss Nancy. So there's his mom, and there's his dad, and if you can tell, that's Wilford in the middle, upside down. Poor old thing, said his mother. Why is she a poor old thing? Asked Wilford Gordon. Because she's lost her memory, said his father. It isn't surprising, said his mother. After all, she is 96. What's a memory? Asked Wilford Gordon. He was always asking questions. It's something to remember, said his father. But Wilford wanted to know more, so he called on Mrs. Jordan, who played the organ. What's a memory? He asked. Something warm, my child, something warm. He called on Mr. Hosking, who told him scary stories. What's a memory? He asked. Something from long ago, me lad, something from long ago. There's Wilford sitting in the chair. He called on Mr. Tippett, who was crazy about cricket. What's a memory? He asked. Something that makes you cry, my boy, something that makes you cry. He's thinking. He called on Mrs. Mitchell, who walked with a wooden stick. What's a memory? He asked her. Something that makes you laugh, my darling, something that makes you laugh. Getting lots of ideas about what a memory is. He called on Mr. Drysdale, who had a voice like a giant. What's a memory? He asked. Something as precious as gold, young man, something as precious as gold. So Wilford Gordon went home again to look for memories for Miss Nancy, because she had lost her own. He looked for the shoebox of shells he had found long ago last summer and put them gently in a basket. He found a puppet on strings, which always made everyone laugh, and he put that in the basket too. He remembered with sadness the medal which his grandfather had given him, and he placed it gently in the box next to the shells. I think the puppet is really cute. Next he found his football, which was precious as gold. And last of all, on his way to Miss Nancy's home, he went to the hen house and took a fresh, warm egg from under the hen. And there's the egg he's putting in his basket with all the other treasures. Then Wilfred Gordon called on Miss Nancy and gave her each thing one by one. What a dear, strange child to bring me all these wonderful things, thought Miss Nancy. Then she started to remember. She held the warm egg and told Wilfred Gordon about the tiny speckled blue eggs she had once found in a bird's nest in her aunt's garden. And this is Miss Nancy when she was a little girl. She put the shell to her ear and remembered going to the beach by tram long ago and how hot she felt in her button-up boots. So you can see in the picture she took off those buttoned-up boots so she could walk barefoot on the warm sand. She touched the medal and talked sadly of her big brother she had loved, who had gone to war and never returned. She smiled at the puppet on strings and remembered the one she had shown to her sister and how she had laughed with a mouthful of porridge. So this is Miss Nancy and her little sister, and there's Miss Nancy's puppet. And she's down on her little sister, and she's just giggling away. So much so that she spilled her porridge. She bounced the football to Wilfred Gordon and remembered the day she had met him and all the secrets they had told. And the two of them smiled and smiled because Miss Nancy's memory had been found again by a small boy who wasn't very old. And that's the end of the book. And there's Wilfred sitting on his skateboard. And I'm Joyce Speas, your visiting tailor of tales.